So what we're going to be talking about today is some fundamental exercises. You'll be able to do this each morning, each evening. It'd be good for everyone to do that. Golfers, cyclists, runners, tennis players, these are the fundamentals. So when we're talking about core stability and coordination, what we want to see happening is not just strength, but how everything moves fluidly together. And that's where we have our stability. That's where the stability comes from. So we're going to be going over some basics first. As we start decreasing the stability, it starts activating through here much more. So why we want this is to have better movement through here, the coordination, better nerve flow, less nerve pressure, hence that power and coordination happening particularly through the lower part there, which is going to impact that breathing. So we're going to start with the back builder, nice and easy. So everything at right angles there, Lucas, so straight out down through here. So I want this at right angles, down, and then down there like that. I also want the elbows bent just a little bit, so we're activating the triceps through here. We don't really want this locking because it's putting a lot of pressure on the ligaments here. So we just have that slightly bent, makes it a little bit harder there. So, Lucas, opposite arm and opposite leg straight out for me. Good. And now back and swap it over to the other side. Good. So we're like a pointer dog, everything going straight out there. That's good. And the other side, concentrating on keeping this nice and flat. We don't want too much rotation happening through there. Slower is better than faster. Breathing nice and easy as you're doing that. Good. And down. Right. So that's the first part. We want 20 of those. That's 10 each side, 10 each side. Okay? Then we can increase the coordination and the core needed by decreasing the stability on it. So to do this, hopefully everyone's got one of these. For this exercise, you only need a half one, but because you're going to need this for the other one, you might as well go out and get one of these. You can get these all sorts of places, even Kmart has them for not very much. So, Lucas. Knees there, hands there, elbows slightly bent. Nice and long through here. What are you doing there, Kerry?
It's just adjusting his fingers. So
yep.
That is just a base of support as well.
Yes.
So the fingers should be facing the front, like that's your point of support, that's your middle finger. So any rotation, lifting, or any, you've got to get as much of that hand down as you can.
So nice and flat there, yep. Fingers straight out in front. Good. Well, we'll do it first of all with the toes down. So good question, Lucas. We've got both feet on the ground here at this point. So bringing this arm and this leg, pushing them away. Good, with the toes still there, and back down. And swap it over to the other side. Good. Bit easier than yesterday. Good. Bit less stability there, Lucas.
Bit difficult.
Good. And now doing it for us with the opposite, with the toes off the ground. So we can see there, less stable through here, but as this is going to get nice and stronger, that's going to get easier and easier. And that's great for any kind of sport that you're meant to be doing. Good job. And down. And kneeling up there. So that's doing that morning and evening. Do it without the instability first, then with the roller, and then with the roller without the opposite toes on the ground, just to slowly build up the neurology that's needed there. The next one I'm going to show before Kerry comes on and does some work here is laying onto your back here. So bum there, head here. Really good one to do. Down that way a little bit so your head is... So for this one here, we need the head on the roller. Knees are bent to keep that spine imprinted through here. Hands are about just there, just resting there nice and easily. We're not putting too much weight on through there because this is where our stability comes from.
Make sure you've got full contact, so that chest is down, so between here and end of the pelvis.
All contacting through there. And we control that by bringing them up a little bit. Okay, good. Bringing this leg, just to start with this one first.
Yep.
So bringing that leg up into tabletop. By tabletop, I mean at right angles. So if you're doing this at home, it's good to have someone else watching you do this because this is where the differentiation will occur. And now bringing the other leg up. Good. So we're putting, this is starting to work now. Now pushing this leg straight out. Good, and back in. And the other leg straight out. Good, and back in. So again, a lot of core happening here. If you're just starting with this, the lower that you push the leg, the harder it is. So if you want it a bit easy, just push the leg a little bit higher, and as you get stronger, it's going to come lower and lower. To make this a little bit harder again, you have the hands closer in, elbows in as well, and that can make it less stable, therefore making that core work more. So trying that again for me. Good. And as you get better at that, the elbows come off the ground. No, the elbows.
That's tricky.
That's going to make it more tricky, which is activating that much more. There we are.
Like that?
Yep. And concentrating on your breathing.
Breathing down into that cylinder is really important.
So that's where Kerry's saying is breathing it nice and easily through
You want
into
width
here.
there, as much
Nice
width as you
and
can get.
breathing it wide through here,
Yep.
not through there.
Down into the groin, so as far as you can get. Beautiful.
Good one, and that'll do. So there's some fundamentals, some basics there. You can play around with that and build upon that, but if you need more information, we'll be building upon those exercises. Now we're handing over to Kerry. He's going to combine a few other things there, which you'll be able to do as well. Thanks, Lucas. Good job. So now handing over to Kerry. She's going to show some flexibility, combining it with the neurology of stability, and then adding a component of strength, putting that all together as well.
A bit of a rotation, yep.
Okay?
Yep.
So, Kerry, show us your magic there.
All right, so what I want you to do is go down into quadruped, which is on all fours first to start off. So I want you to imagine, again, we just check again that the hands are definitely facing the front, as much of the pad of that hand, including those points of support, into the ground, because that's the 3 points of support that you've got in your hand. 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. What I want you to do is imagine you're spreading the ground between those hands, and these shoulders are rolling away from the ears. So that's your good foundation and support. Push away from the ground here. Now I want you to take this leg, and it's going to come out and stand sort of at this angle, facing this way. It's going to follow your hip. Beautiful. All right. So the first thing to look at when he sets up here is that this knee lines up with the second and third toe. So ideally he would be in bare feet. And when we do this manoeuvre, I'll get him to do a little bit in a minute, this is actually what I don't want. I want you to put some pressure on my hand on the outside. Yeah, I want your knee to go that way, okay? And that lines up for me. Looking at it down here and looking at it from where you are, I don't want it to come in as it's doing exercises, all right? So it stays out there. The other thing to look at is that these sides are really long. So he keeps as long as he can from the crown, this point here, right down to the base of his spine is as long as he can get. And you can see here we've got quite a rounded spine. So I want you to see if you can drop that a little bit, Lucas. That's right. So keeping this length, all right? Should go into this hip joint. So even sitting in that one with your foot flat, so top of the foot flat at the back, all I'm looking for here is the length of the spine, and if I'm giving him some feedback, making sure these hips are square, so I can do that here. I just want you to sit in that and go as long as you can again. Crown, shoulders away from your ears, good support.
So Kerry, for the person helping the athlete here, because it's really important to have someone regularly doing this.
Yep.
So we're giving general support down here.
Bit of a push down into the ground.
And that, making sure this
Making
knee,
sure that knee stays in line with that second, third toe. I can put some weight down into that toe. He should really feel that into his hip. Yeah? So effectively, this is sort of the base position. Ideally, I would rather have, drop here. That's it. Go to your feet, go to your hands, they're your support. So ideally here, I would rather have like a tabletop. If you can't get a tabletop here, you can actually raise your hands and put them on a step or something like that. Ideally, this would be your best position. Okay. All right, so he's sitting in that position. What I want him to do is take this hand across to that wrist. Watch that hand again, put those fingers down. All right, so now I've got this nice, broad, beautiful. He can slowly just travel back as if he's parking his car back into a garage. Very slowly, it's about control, keeping that knee beautiful and slowly forward. But I don't want him to do it while that's compromised. And for him, for Lucas, he's imagining that the underside of this foot feels like the underside of this leg, yeah? As long as you can in the... And now imagine what you're using the whole time we're trying to move using our supports. Using this hand This foot, this back leg, so this shin, not this. That's it, so the transfer and keeping these hips in a line. So if you are helping somebody and you can see they're swinging left or right, come back and make sure they are coming straight back. Okay, nice and square. All right, do you need a rest there? Take that hand down. Another variation, so once you're in this position, is to add some rotation. So again, this is the setup. What I want you to do, Lucas, because he's got 3 points of support, this one can come up. Take it to the back here and just sitting here. All right? And he can add, so I want this to imagine this is like a skewer. This is his rotisserie, and he's going to look towards Andrew, so he's going to look to that wall. But he's going to raise this shoulder. He's only raising this hip, using his hip. So no use of this, just lift this hand using this hip. Yeah, that's it. You will only have a small rotation and back. And again, I'm just checking that knee, because that knee wants to come in.
So this knee wants to come in that way?
This knee wants to come in. I'm trying to keep it. I need him to put pressure on. Yeah. So it's not about me putting the pressure on. I need him to change the pattern that he's got going on. That pattern is non-preferred. We want that one. Beautiful.
Okay, good.
All right. And the other alternative. Yeah, it's pretty intense. Maybe we'll do the other leg.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So again, the setup. Think about I'm looking at hands again, feet again, just a bit further out. So this foot doesn't always face straight out. It follows the hip. Beautiful. And all I want to do, again, drop that on a little bit, Andrew, Lucas, that's it. As long as you can get. All right. You can actually, again, these hands, you can actually add rotation to this. So not only was he rotating before and looking to the right, you can actually, I'll get him to hold a TheraBand under this hand.
So this is adding a strength component?
This is adding probably more the rotation. Again, it's rotation. This hand comes down for me first.
So this is really key for golfers, tennis
Anything
players.
rotation. So what I want you to do is do exactly what you were doing before in the rotation, but I want this hand, this hand's going to come all the way up and rotate. Is there enough give in there? To come up at 90 and more. Beautiful. So, and now rotate to look to this wall. Beautiful. And I want him to think that spine is rotating like a rotisserie. I want that to be as long and as straight as possible. Well done. And back.
So the observer there, making sure things are stable.
So the observer, yeah.
That knee's happy
He's
and not getting too warm.
want a bit of breath in, not getting, and again, come back to that stability, get your breath before you change.
That's great.
Beautiful. Well done, putting it back down. So that would be my base. Come back with this leg for the tripod.
Okay, fantastic.
All right, so this is a thoracic sort of a focus here. So we've got, on one side, we've got knees differentiated, legs differentiated, which means one's out this way at 90, the other one's reciprocal at the other angle. He's on his side. I want him to line up exactly on this side. And what Lucas is going to do is gradually go down into a diamond. So onto his forearms. Yeah, beautiful. And again, we're just focusing on those hands and these all in contact with the ground. That's his support base. Focusing on these shoulders, staying away from your ears. So no raising here, no winging here. Head, neck, yep. Beautiful. So that looks like the longest spine I can get, effectively all the way down here, and it's travelling down to here. So you can really feel your contact with your support, yeah? Mm-hmm. And the other support is up here. So this thoracic rotation, so I'm looking for even here, no raised shoulders, nice and square. He can also come up onto, so raise your hands and come up as if you're rotating, internal rotation. But for the moment, so that would be as if you've got, like my hand holding you there, yep, and coming in on that internal rotation and splitting the ground between you, yep, feeling like you're spreading the ground. So I'll keep it down this time. All right. And just in looking at this is all about, he can almost adjust this as he goes himself. I am just going to give him, I want these ribs, and if you're looking at anybody here, I want these ribs to be parallel. So no side bend, no side bend. So when we rotate, you stay where you are, as long as you can get shoulders away from your ears. That's it. Will you tell me where you can feel that?
Yeah, through the spine.
Through the spine, so that rotation. The whole time I want you to imagine from your knees to your crown is the longest you can get, and that you effectively almost feel like you're getting a little bit of a push away from the ground here. Yeah, beautiful. And that fills up this space here. I don't want it to be vertical. I don't want any hollows in here, so if you can fill this space a little bit for me from pushing from the ground. Yeah, beautiful. But keeping those down. And you can see here this line of his ribs is quite good. 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Coming back. It's pretty intense through there. You can also do that lying in the same. Just put that forearm down again. Again, he's lined up. I want this elbow to line up with this hip, to line up with this knee.
Which one?
This elbow.
Yep.
That's it. It's in line with your hip. So if I look from here, this is your support. Just put it out at a 45-degree angle. Take this hand and it would rotate through. Yep. And rotate as much as you can get. Every little bit you can gradually lean those forward, lean those forward. All right? So again, it's rotation though. So you can do that yourself, and he's doing it, he's adjusting and coming forward. But the whole time I want to see, just again, yeah, breathing into here, because now you're really wound up here, you need to breathe into here, and head, neck. Does it feel the same? It's a little bit different, but again, I want these ribs to be parallel, back ribs. That's better. So you can see that adjustment of head, neck, that's much longer. All right, that's probably the main parts of that thoracic rotation.
So, Kerry, you're going to show us what we're looking for, of which stage you want to get to, and we're aware that this takes time to get to this, so we're not in a super duper hurry here.
Absolutely. So with that practice, again, straight up, remember it was knees over toes, and I've got my hands set up just wider than shoulder width, but you're looking for my shoulders being even, my back ribs being even, so no
nice there,
no curve,
there.
no lumbo.
So you really could put a dinner plate full of peas on.
That's what you're looking for. And it also gives you, you get that as you get hip range. Like I said, you could start up here, but as you practice, you'll actually be able to do that. And in any rotation, so when he was doing any rotation or rotating here, he was really raising shoulders. It's
And
just hips.
most of us would do that to start with.
Yep.
Until we become aware of this.
So
is what's
the
happening.
whole thing to focus on then is crown to here. I don't want any
Okay.
compromise.
So
No,
crown to here.
no side bending.
And you're talking about being a rotisserie
Correct.
through this point.
So no side bending at all. No shortening here
Yes.
or shortening here. It's actually just, and like he was moving.
So this is going to look the same as you're rotating. Right. Okay. So there's
Those
no
ribs
bend in
stay-
there, and there's no bend in there. Right.
Those ribs stay even all the way around in a rotation, and those hips are actually just rotating without any compromise there.
And another mistake that people are going to do, they're going to let this knee either
Come in.
collapse
Generally,
like
it will
that.
come in.
Yep. So again, you need to be aware to keep this here because this is activating right through there.
Yeah.
Very important.
Same with your hands. Remember, same with your hands. So when he was doing this too, there's no dip of the shoulder. It's getting as much away from the floor as possible. I think we did that one, and even in the going back. So in going back, normally most people will rotate their spine or move their spine. It's actually only going back as far as you can keep an ideal spine. And I'm leading with my crown to come back.
Okay, so again, a lot of people are going to let this come in and they're going to round up through here.
Gripping with the toes is another one too. You'll often find gripping with the toes.
So we want to keep that flat, passive.
It's almost you've got a millimetre under your toes.
Okay.
Yep.
Fantastic. All
Beautiful.
right. Thank you. And here's one for a bit of fun, just to put it all together.
Now you want to challenge your stability? There's another way to do it. So again, I'm just focused on breathing into here as I come up, so I don't want any compromise in here. And I have got the maximum width I can get on the floor between my shoulder blades. Like my elbows are going into the floor. I can take something like this. I can actually, again, I don't want my spine to come off that floor at all. I can actually even put the ball in on its own. Again, no change in the spine or the sides. All of this is activating, or I can even
So you're keeping this torso,
this hasn't
really,
moved.
this is not moving.
You can see that that's on.
Yep.
And my arms, my shoulder blades are not, I'm not coming off the floor there at that
so
critical
this is flat to the
junction.
ground.
Correct.
Yep. This is really important for looking at that lower part of that spine, which has got to be cared for, especially for athletes. Don't over torsion that one while you're doing something like this.
And that's all about this stability.
Okay.
All right.
Fantastic. And another key reason that we're showing athletes this is because sometimes they've been given the wrong information, which is causing a lot of problems, leading to a lack of performance and injuries, sometimes long-term injuries, shortening their careers, especially when the damage happens into here, because unfortunately a personal trainer who's done a weekend training course will tell you it's just about the strength of it. It's not only the strength, it's about the coordination and function of it and the whole neurology. So that's why we've put this together, so you can get that information, expand on it, and make all the difference to your own athletic career.
But I'm trying to keep that spine all the way. So most people will round their spine at some point on that one.